Hello and welcome to my word problem unit. This is a 7-day unit that you will be using to teach your students about word problems. This site is set up to provide you with all the needed information, materials, and resources that you will need to teach a 7-day math unit on word problems. The flow of this website is each daily lesson is set up on its own web page. On these pages, you will find all the materials needed to teach that day's lesson. On the left-hand side of this web page, on the main page, you will see listed Lesson 1, Lesson 2, Lesson 3. Each one of those pages has all the needed information for that lesson. This includes the lesson plan for the day, which will list the daily objective, presentation of new materials, guided practice, independent practice, assessment, links to online materials, and all required materials or resources that you will need for that day's lesson. Overview. During this unit, you will be teaching your students to solve various types of word problems using 4 simple steps. The instructional goal for this unit is, given a variety of math word problems, students will be able to identify the information needed and form the correct numeric representation to solve the math problem with 85% accuracy. This is the overall unit instructional goal. Each day's lesson will also have its own instructional goal. The materials that you will need to teach this lesson and this unit are the lesson plans. The students will need a daily math notebook that they can take notes in and write down the guided practice problems in as you work through them. A Promethean smartboard or overhead projector are some way of showing the PowerPoint presentations and the Quizlet flashcards. Students need a laptop. This can either be within the classroom or computers in a computer lab. The math worksheets for independent practice, those are found on each individual page. The daily lesson assessment are also found on each individual lesson's page, and the final unit assessment, which will be found on Lesson 7, Day 7's lesson page. The resources that will be used is a Google site, which I have set up that includes the tips and any type of lesson plan or other material that the students will need. This site is wonderful if a student misses a day in class. They can go to this website and find out everything that they need for that day. The PowerPoint presentation, which explains the 4 steps, that is found on lesson day 1. The YouTube videos just demonstrating how to complete word problems. There's a day that I will use that as the presentation for new material. Quizlet flashcards is a link that you will find on each page because those are used each day to reinforce the 4 steps. Math Skill Builder website is set up for students to use during independent practice. I have that set up on one day that the students will go there and they'll actually generate their own word problems for independent practice. This is the 7-day overview of the unit. As you can see, the first day is basically introducing the students to the 4 steps they'll use to solve word problems. Day 2 is word problems with whole number operations. Day 3 is word problems with decimals. Day 4 is word problems with formulas. Day 5 is coin and age word problems. Day 6 is word problems with mixed calculations, which means they'll use more than one possible combination of calculations. They may have to add and then subtract, or they may have to add and then multiply. And day 7 is the final review of the unit, and then they'll have their overall unit assessment. This is the flow chart for the unit of instruction. It just kind of breaks it down by each lesson and kind of what they'll do throughout the day as far as presentation of new material, their guided practice, independent practice. They'll check the answers on the independent practice, and then the assessment for that day. So this is just an easy kind of blueprint for you to look at to see, how the whole unit will work out. The next few slides are just showing you the kind of overall lesson for each day and each day's performance objective. As you can see here on lesson 1, it's about teaching the students the 4 steps to solve the word problems, and this is kind of an overview of what you're actually teaching them. You're going to teach them what each of the 4 steps are, and then you will show them during guided practice how to use those 4 steps to solve the problem. And that then below, as you can see, this shows you the performance objective for day 1. Day 2, same thing, kind of just shows you what you'll be using and how you'll be going through the day's lesson and each performance. So the next few slides just show you each day's lesson kind of broken up with the objective. Day 3 is solving word problems with decimals, which could also include money. There's several problems that I will be giving you on the guided practice sample sheet that will help you, for additional examples on problems to use during guided practice. Day 4 is using a formula. Day 5 is a coin and age word problems. This day is the day that I actually have set up for during independent practice time. They will go to a website that will actually generate age word problems for them. So each student might have different word problems, which is kind of fun because it gives them a different, instead of just getting a worksheet, they can go to this web page and do these problems on their own. Day 6 is using mixed calculations. And then day 7, it's your final day. Basically, it's just going to be reviewing your 4 steps again, which is something that you're going to do every day. Review any of the other problems that you did throughout the week. This is the day that they will use the website that I have set up for students' use, which shows, it breaks it out. It's sort of like this site, but it's one for students that shows what we learned that day. A copy of the independent worksheet, some more sample problems they can work through, YouTube videos showing what they learned that day, links to websites where they could go and practice these problems more, links to the Quizlet flashcards so they could practice learning the 4 steps. So this day is basically a completely review day. And at the end of the day, what you will do is make sure they have a good understanding of everything they learned for the prior 6 days, and then they will take their unit assessment. That is the end, and thank you so much for looking at my unit, and I hope you have great luck with it, and happy mathing.